In the wake of 7-1, the Brazil lost to Germany in the semifinals. Certainly we'll keep an eye on what's going on around the country. We've spoken throughout. If Brazil lost, how would everyone react? So far, everything we see and hear seems to be calm. Certainly it's early, but we'll keep an eye on it. Let's get more on this Brazil loss and my colleague Bob Lee. Bob?
Thank you, Michael. I'm over here on the last call set. We'll see you, of course, World Cup tonight, 8 Eastern time, 7 Eastern time, 8 Brazilian time. Rubens Posey's with me as the rain opens up above our heads, and you were just telling me during the break that the gods are crying. David Luiz gave a post-game interview. We saw him walking over to give that interview. He was very emotional. He is emotional through the interview. I'm going to play the tape, and I'll ask you to let us know exactly what he's saying. What did he say?
He says that he asks sorry for the Brazilians. The team just want to make them happy. These people who suffer so much here in Brazil, and they didn't make it. So he's asking sorry, apologize. We would like to see you happy, to make you happy in this World Cup, but we didn't make it.
Now, this opens the door onto the entire question of the emotional nature of this Brazilian team, and we heard it after the penalty shootout in the round of 16. And David Luiz is one of the players who was seen being emotional on the pitch. We heard the criticisms from players such as Carlos Alberto, the captain of the 1970 World Cup team, Careca, I believe Cafu as well. Upset, basically saying real members of the Seleção don't cry. There was criticism of the fact that Felipe Scolari had brought in a team psychologist. What does this all mean?
It means that the team before today, they were emotionally not balanced. But today what we saw, it's a team on the field completely lost. I believe that not because only Neymar and Thiago Silva missing, but because the team was not ready for it, was not ready for Germany to play against Germany. I think that we talk about forgiveness before that. I believe that these players, they will be forgiven. Maybe.
They will be forgiven.
They will, but maybe Big Phil don't. Because the way we lost to Germany today.
We saw Scolari with his players saying, gathering them about, saying, as if it's on me, it's my fault, trying to absolve them. So, Mike, we're just beginning what will be a very emotional, political, popular autopsy of what happened tonight, 7-1.
Yeah, it starts here tonight, Bob. This is the scene, Copacabana Beach, Avenida Atlantico, as you've been saying, just goes right along the beach. And this has been the typical scene on the nights of Brazil games where they close down traffic on the street. Lots of folks walk and mill around. They have been enjoying. They've been well behaved. I hope the Argentine fans who are so passionate about their country and excited about playing tomorrow, the intermingling of the Argentine fans and the Brazil fans doesn't cause any bit of an eruption. And we'll keep an eye on this as best we can here over the next little bit. I don't want to lose Germany because Brazil feels like the story for the moment, but this is one of the best wins. A three-time champion. This has got to be an unbelievably proud moment. But as you said, you don't want to just celebrate it and embrace it just yet.
Yeah, and that's repeated. It's a fantastic evening. We made history already. I mean, something like that happens every 100 years, you know, and everyone should know this and realize now there will be another totally different game on Sunday. You know, it doesn't matter who we face. But for now, I mean, we celebrate, we're happy, we are proud of this team because this is a golden generation. If you've seen them playing today, it was incredible. And but we want to win this World Cup, you know. We won it and they won it, you know. And yeah, they have to stay calm now because it's not easy for the coach to reorganize them, you know, to explain to them there's a totally different game on Sunday. Something will not happen.
This line of history, a 6-goal margin doubling the largest defeat of a host nation ever, doesn't mean a thing when they take the field at the Maracanã on Sunday.
I don't think so. It's just one game. You know, everyone will be so focused. There's a final, and this is the greatest moment for a footballer to be in a final, you know. And with this history, beating Brazil 7-1, I mean, they must be incredible confident, but not overconfident. That will be important.
Lexi, I'll give you the last word here before we hit the Sports Center.
Well, I think let's just about Germany right there. Now they're in a position to cap off this incredible transformation where they went back and reassessed everything, changed the way that they did things, but it doesn't matter unless Germany is standing there with the World Cup. Now they have that opportunity for Jogi Löw and for these players.
Well, let's remind everybody what we're going to do. In a couple of moments, we'll be back on SportsCenter with our coverage, and in 55 minutes, Bob Lee will have World Cup tonight. Only 2% of the games in the history of the World Cup have been decided by 6 goals or more, but none like 7-1 Germany in Brazil.
This is SportsCenter live.
Kroos with the corner. Goes a long way and a goal! It's him again! Thomas Muller to put the Germans ahead. It's closer! The history man! He's done it! 2-0! And that's 3! Toni Kroos! Germany are running riot. Unbelievable! Khedira again! 5-0! And Brazil's World Cup is surely over.
Yeah, that really just happened.
Wow.
Germany upsets Brazil with a scoring spree nobody saw coming. Kind of like LeBron James and the Heat getting their butts whooped in the NBA Finals. Welcome to SportsCenter with John Anderson. I'm Lindsay Zarniak.
At the start of the semifinal between the two soccer superpowers, it looked like those little kids that walk out on the field when the teams come out stayed out and played for the host country. 5 goals in the span of 18 minutes. Right. And LeBron James is going to sign as a free agent to play on the moon. James Orbit in a minute. Soccer now. Mike Tirico in Brazil.
Yeah, John, 4 years after the decision, it is decisive and it's shocking. And it is a sad day for Brazilian soccer. This World Cup that they have waited for. Generations have waited for it. 64 years to try and rewrite the history of 1950 when 8 miles or so from here, they lost to Uruguay 2-1 with 175,000 people standing in the Maracanã. And they thought this could be the year. And instead, it goes out with a just faceplant. 7-1 Germany eviscerating Brazil on this day. Alexi Lawless, Gilberto Silva, Michael Ballack, we all watched together. If you came in late from work or wherever you were, we're going to show you the highlights of what happened and really a shocking stretch of soccer that just silenced the country, really. Everybody comes to a stop anyway. Of course, there was no Neymar for Brazil, but his jersey being held with Penny. And as you guys said in watching, you thought that they were done, Brazil. Berlin, you were not done partying. Here comes the team. Players were standing around and left looking at each other.
Yeah, it seems like each goal were nicer than the other ones. Again, 1-2, empty goal. And Khedira as well. He had his great game.
With the finish, 6-0 Germany.
Boom, nobody on him. Boom, nobody on him. This was all night.
And he'll join Toni Kroos with a brace. 2 goals here. That was a beautiful one.
And we've seen the quality we have on the bench as well, you know.
Back at Mesut Ozil as Oscar scores the most empty goal you could ever score. 7-1. Germany with an extraordinarily landmark performance on their way to a record 8th World Cup final. They will look to tie Italy as 4-time champions, 1 behind Brazil's 5. And as if the pain of the numbers are not enough, with the 7-1, Germany passed Brazil in all-time goals scored in World Cup history. Talk about Brazil's worst losses all time, not just World Cup, but this equals the 1920 loss to Uruguay in Copa America. So this equals the worst defeat ever for the Brazilian team. We've talked emotions a little bit. Gilberto, I want to talk just tactics, and we've talked about Thiago Silva not being there. And in the middle, in that central defense, would that factor in? Was that one of the reasons things spiraled so quickly and got so bad?
I think with him, the team would be more confident, but I don't know, the way they played today, even with him and Neymar, they could not win the game. And was very shocking, and very sad for me as a Brazilian to see the team be so mocked by the way. Would be normal for them to lose against Germany. We have to accept that, but not this way, It's very shocking for us, because you see through the history, what we have done, and see this defeat, it hurts very deep, and go over now for 100 years, I don't know, and even more, until you rebuild what we are doing in the culture in terms of football.
It seems like they were lost even after the 1-0 or 2-0. They didn't know what to do. It looks like they were not prepared for the situation that they could go 1-0 down. They lost everything completely. There were no desire. They lost possessions. They were crazy, like little childs playing, moving up, more, putting pressure on Germany, and they just waited and outplayed them. So it looks like a young team which has no experience.
Like they were just with their hearts, They just went for the battle only to play. Oh, we are the Brazilian. We will play for the nation, but no coordination, no organization.
So many good players on the
German
pitch,
just wait them. Okay, come. We're going to defend, and the right time we kill them.
It was an incredibly naive performance from Brazil. Yeah, we talked about this team. And this is a team that over the last year didn't have to qualify for the World Cup, cruised through the Confederations Cup, for the most part cruised through this tournament, and didn't have to face moments where everything went wrong. And it doesn't matter how big a team you are, there's going to come a time where things don't go wrong, and they were not able to adapt. As Yuba said, they played thinking that that passion and that emotion that this country undeniably has was going to get them through. Well, it only gets you so far. And when you come up against a team like Germany and you play like that, it doesn't matter. You can have 100,000 people in the stadium and all the passion and emotion that you want, but they are going to take you apart, and that's what happened tonight.
And a lot of the conversation over the next few hours is going to be the reaction long term, but the reaction immediately. Some folks were assuming a Brazilian loss could touch off protests, those unhappy of all the money spent on the World Cup and then the pending Rio Olympics in 2016, and not on infrastructure, schools, and other things. Just to pass along before I go over to you, Bob Lee, our colleague Julie Foudy is going back towards where we all are at the hotel, and she just texted me that between here and back up Copacabana Beach, things are mostly calm, but the rain is helping out a lot because it's raining. A lot of the people are taking cover from the heavy rain, so perhaps that will help the situation that's out there. Bob is over there with our local guest as well.
Yeah, Rubens Posey of ESPN Brazil, who told us earlier, and I think accurately, the gods were crying. We saw in our game coverage of David Luiz, very emotional interview. Julio Cesar, in the moments after this match, also speaking. We ask you to help us understand exactly what he's saying, how he's saying in the moments after that 7-1 loss.
É isso. Agora é voltar para nossas casas, abraçar os nossos familiares, que tenho certeza que estão loucos para abraçar cada um de nós. E fica aqui o meu agradecimento a todo o povo brasileiro. Chegamos perto dessa vez, não conseguimos. E é isso. Parabéns por tudo. E fica aqui realmente sentimento muito triste.
Bob, he said that now it's time to back home, hug our relatives, our sons, and just let this the great thankful that they have to the fans that support them and cheer for them until now, and unfortunately they could deliver the title that everybody wants. So now it's time to go home and think about it, but there is nothing more that they can do right now.
Yeah, no tears there from Julio Cesar, but he was tearful following the penalty shootout in the round of 16. And Luiz, and again, that emotional situation. What do you make of this almost a generational gap between the old school guys who are saying these guys are too emotional, and these guys who wear it on their sleeve and play and pray for Neymar, and they came in today wearing the hats. They put all of their chips onto the table on the emotion side of this today.
Despite this, these guys are very experienced players in Europe. They are very good in the teams that they are playing, but on the World Cup, and these guys can tell them with
it's different.
It's different. It's different.
Different here for Brazil.
When you put that jersey and you be in front of Germany, you be in front of Spain or England, it's a different feeling. It's a different atmosphere. You have to play different. So it's what happens in Brazil.
I guess now, Michael, the second most infamous game ever played in Belo Horizonte. England, United States, 1950, and I think for Brazilians, this will go right to the top of the list.
It will, Bob. More on World Cup tonight. Bob will be hosting that 45 minutes from now. Most goals in a match by one team. That Germany 7 there is third, behind Germany beating Saudi Arabia back in 2002. And then that Hungary 10-1 win over El Salvador. This was up there for a moment when it was 7-0 as one of the 10 worst defeats by margin in the history of the World Cup. And then Oscar got that one very late. Alexi, we've been almost taking every Brazil result as a referendum on, is this team good enough? And Steve McManaman made the point during the broadcast that maybe Brazil would have been out of this tournament if it was played somewhere else, that they were playing off of some of that emotion. So I don't want to say we saw this coming, but you certainly saw the signs of their less than stellar play as we watched match after match.
Well, we saw the signs that this was not a classic type of Brazilian team that took it to teams, and you just felt from that opening whistle that it doesn't matter. They are just going to blow right through them in terms of the talent or collectively the way that they played. But I think when you look at the pressure that this team was under, that was one thing. But also, at times they used it to their advantage. And whether it was the crowds or just walking around, everybody was incredibly supportive of this team. But as we said, that only gets you so far. And it doesn't matter how you're good. And yes, you can use it, but it's just one tool. The other part of it is you got to have players, and when you're talking about players like Fred up top, the fact is that you need somebody better up top, even if you're Brazil. Brazil, just because you put on that jersey, that's not going to get you the cup, and it's certainly not going to get you the cup in Brazil. And
the coach, Felipe Scolari, tried to take a lot of the attention and pressure upon himself, not just as Bob said earlier, right after the match, but he also tried to in the lead-up to this. So he's having now to answer a lot of questions, and here is some of his post-game comments.
To the people, first of all, what I say is please excuse us for this negative mistake. I'm sorry that we were not able to get to the final, and we're going to continue working and honoring what our team is, playing for the third place now in Brasilia, and to thank the support of all. Very emphatically, but today, losing 5, 6, 7, they were there supporting the players, and it was very interesting to see that happen.
Hi, Filippo. In your opinion, who is responsible about the? Okay, it's okay. In your opinion, who is responsible about this catastrophic result?
Who is responsible when the team plays? Who is invited as a coach? Who is the coach? Who's responsible for capping the team? I am. It's me. So the catastrophic result can be shared with the whole group because my players want that and will tell you that we are going to share all the responsibilities. But the choice, who decided the tactical lineup, the way to play, I did. So the results and the person responsible is me.
Interesting comments from Scolari. He's expecting the finger of blame to be pointed at him. Be interesting to see what his legacy becomes. Of course, won the World Cup with Brazil in '02 and the way this ended. I thought the point you made after the match was interesting, that maybe there needs to be a broader examination of how Brazil is playing at this level.
Exactly. As Alex said, we always said before, from the first stage of the competition, they didn't play the qualification. After Copa America was a disaster for the Brazilian team, and then only the Confederations Cup. Okay, they won, but there's a lack of competition for them to see if this team is strong or not to play in the World Cup, and we didn't see them to have on an opposite situation, losing the game and come back against a good